You know, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. What does that mean? You know? No one ever thinks about those types of phrases and terms anymore. I'm not going to say all the cliche things that they do nowadays. You know? I'm talking about the good old days when you'd look at a picture and you'd say, you know, that picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, maybe it's worth more than 1,000 words. Right? Check it out. I've got this here picture of George Washington being sworn in as the first president after they chased out the British. And there's people who say, yeah, there have been other presidents before that, and that's fine. I go along with that. But it was before they established their new charter, their constitutional agreement. But if you look at this picture here, it's interesting. Because right, you know, in the middle of it here, there's an empty chair. You know? And it's blue and it's got white stripes. And it's got this wooden frame around it. And it's like, it looks like it's waiting. Is it waiting to be sat in? You know, what does that chair mean? You know what I mean? It's sitting there. And not only that, you can see the colors of what these gentlemen are wearing. George is wearing, it looks like, pretty much mostly all red with a little white, and his shoes are black or brown or whatever. He's got a little white here, and he's got the white thing. I guess the ascot that used to wear that in the old days. Some people still wear that. I don't know. The point is, he's swearing in. You know, he's doing his ritual. He's doing his rite of passage for people who are beyond the mainstream. He's about to fulfill his destiny. And you see this church in the background. The church, I find it funny. You can't really tell. But it looks a little crooked. Can you see? It kind of looks like it's tilted. It's like it's leaning towards the left a little bit. Now, did the artist make a mistake? Or is it intentionally leaning that way? Because everything else is perfectly straight. You know what I mean? Did he put that in there last and he was like, shucks, it's crooked. Well, anyway, let's go back to the deal here. So, it's got a religious factor, right? Whether you want to call it whatever religion you want to name. But that is it could just be not what you think it is. So you have an empty chair, and right behind the empty chair, you've got the steeple of this church. And, you know, this is supposed to be New York. In those days, there wasn't like a Washington, D.C. He wasn't dead yet. You know what I mean? So they're probably being sworn here. This is probably Wall Street. This is probably where the Twin Towers were. And that's that little church that everyone went into afterwards. That's a possibility, right? But going back to what he was wearing, he's wearing all red. And if you look at this tablecloth, it's also all red. And it's got this gold fringe going around it. You know, that gold fringe means something. Now, if you see a lot of flags nowadays, when you go to the courthouses or you see if you go in a federal building, if you're just watching C-SPAN, you'll see the flag, the American flag with the gold fringe. Now, if you know anything about an Article 4 flag, look that up. You know? So he's doing his swearing here, and he's wearing this all red. And then there's this guy here, he's wearing all red. This guy's wearing all red. And this guy's wearing all red. And they're all dressed the same, you know what I mean? They're dressed in a uniform that matches this tablecloth that has a gold fringe around it with an empty seat with a blue backing and white stripes like the Yankees. You know what I mean? It's just reversed. In New York with the steeple here. Alright? And you also have 3 pillars. 1, 2, 3 pillars. Okay? So, you know, if you're following me about the other stuff, you'll understand 3 pillars. You'll understand the steeple. I don't know what the empty chair means, but it has something to do with it because you know, it's just, I don't know, maybe just sitting in it, but it was important for the artist to paint it. That was depiction. And remember, this picture here is worth 1,000 words. I'd say it's worth more than that. And now over here in the top corner, you can see the American flag hanging down. Or you can see what you think is the American flag. It's only part of it. You see what I'm saying? Because before this was the United States, it was basically the East India Company, or like the Virginia East India Company. And that's basically what happened, throwing off the East India Company that was controlled by the royal monarchs. And, you know, they got pissed off. They didn't want to pay taxes, and they're saying no taxation without representation. And they were just, you know, they were the way they were. Now, if you look closely, these guys have swords on them. George Washington has a sword at his side. So he's promising, you know, he's got his hand on his heart, he's got the hand on his book, like, you know, swearing, he's promising. And this guy kind of looks like a priest behind him, and he's got the sword right here. You know, he might have a pistol, he might have had a pistol on his other side. It wasn't unusual for people to just walk around with pistols and swords in those days. Even a common person, you know, you don't have to be George Washington to walk around with a pistol and a sword. Little kids would walk around with swords and pistols. You know, they practice dueling and all kinds of stuff about surviving. So this picture here is worth 1,000 words. Now, if you see these guys in the back here, this guy, he's looking down and he's writing something, or he's signing something. And this guy's looking from around. And this chair is similar to this chair. You see? It's like this blue. I don't know if it's coming out blue or not. It's not coming out the same. It comes out red on the camera. But in the actual picture, it's like a blue on the inside. It's not picking it up perfectly. But he's sitting in this chair. You see? And this chair is empty. And everyone's gathered around the chair. And they're watching George Washington, except for this man, who's writing something. So this picture is certainly worth 1,000 words. This guy here on the right, he's got a sword on him. And he's sitting there, he's very proudly standing. His chest is sticking out, he's relaxed, and he's got a sword on him. And this guy here, he's dressed like George, and the guy next to him, he's just dressed probably like an aristocrat. I guess he's probably some wealthy guy. And you have this guy here in the background. There's a few guys in the background. This guy's kind of peeking over. He's like peeking out. So, you know, this is a heck of a picture. It's very telling. It's very telling if you know things. But I can notice a few things in this picture, which I really feel this picture is certainly worth 1,000 words. All right. Hope you had a good, thought about it. Hope you, think, use your brain. You know what I'm saying? Just use your brain. Think about things. Look things up. Google it. All right. Thanks.